has been, I would say lazy, but it haven't been because I've been recording majority of the day. It's like, but tomorrow I have nothing booked, so I get to relax. But I got to do a whole bunch of editing before I go to sleep tonight, so I won't have nothing to do tomorrow. I can just chill and everything. And how has your Sunday been?
Not too bad. It's just recording an episode and now I have to edit it too. So I'm gonna
Oh, so
be
you doing the same thing I'm doing, huh? Oh my God. So, I mean, what brought you to podcasting?
So what really brought me to podcasting was to get my voice out, not only to teach a younger generation about personal finances, but and also having to deal with understanding, but also talk about different topics of personal finances that people
Mm-hmm.
don't get taught in school.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so shoot. So, yeah, because it was like now how I ran across this young lady, y'all know how I do my shit. Y'all find out her name after particulars. Is that someone posted a thread of, you know, to get podcasters to collab. As you know, I love talking to other podcasters, especially pod mommies, because that's what I call the ladies, period. And I listened to your podcast and I was like, okay, this lady knows some shit about finances. And be it in the business that I am of adult film that, what I'm saying, where I was in, we make money and there's things we need to know about our finances so that, you know, as we make money, we can do things with it and understand where to put it and all that. Cause it seems like it's like you really know some things about it, period. So it's like, did you already have a background in finances?
I have my degree is in finance actually. And so right, I just graduated, so I just did
Mhm.
my thesis in personal finances, and
Mhm.
also did a little bit in the stock market as well about how to like diversify your portfolio of not having everything in one your egg in one basket, and also
Mhm.
having it in like 40/60, like
Mhm.
40% in stocks and 60% in bonds.
Shit. So people, buckle up, cause this is the money smoke episode. How y'all doing? Welcome to the Smokers Lounge. I'm your host, Kevin Arthur Southern Champ, aka the Porn Rap Star. Y'all know what it is. Find all my links with allmylinks.com/Porn Rap Star. For a sponsor to tell you about, the first one being lsswirl.com, the Facebook of the Ellis Community, the House of Dope Mag in the game, RossSizzleMagazine.com. Also, the wonderful XSiteBunny.com, where content creators get 90% profit. And also, last but not least, award-winning, award-nominated, Smut with voiceover. Also got virtual reality. I'm talking about BlushRocker.com. Also, we're a proud member of the GW District Black Podcasting Network. So go over there to shopgwdistrict.com and do some shopping. Why don't you? Also, check me out 5 days out the week in the mornings at fullyswapradio.com. Also, check me out at skyhawkafterdarktv.com as well as the BGPLLC app, where you sometime might even get to hear me talk some wrestling with my man Gerald Roberts on his radio show. So with that being said, I'm going to shut up. Let this lady that can tell you how to make money, how to budget your money, and be smart with your money. Introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Sydney Allen, and I have a podcast called Finance Rundown. You can find me on Apple Podcast. You can find me on, can find me on Spotify. Now
Mhm.
you can find me on GodPod, and you can also find me on Podbean as well.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. So now the interesting thing was you was talking about Enron, I think that's what they call
Yeah,
it. And I never heard much about it. Period. Because like some things just skate through the news because it's not sexy or what have you. What's some of the things? Can you explain to everybody what that situation was with Enron?
So it has to be with a lot of it has to be with how much money you are bringing in, but also with all the different types of what they are doing, and
Mm-hmm.
also with so much, like, with companies coming in and out of fashion, it's also how they are making money and
Mm-hmm.
dealing with ever changing fashions.
Mm. So it's like with the people in my business, because they are contractors, to say the least. They make you hear about how the girls from OnlyFans make a shitload of money or what have you. But a lot of times in our business, the money fluctuates. So, what's some of the mistakes you see people make with their personal finances when they're getting good money coming in? You know.
Um, the biggest thing I've seen is how to save their money and saving it into their savings account. And then only the other thing is how to budget the income into expenses, into wants or needs, and then
Mhm,
also for daily living.
mhm. So it's kind of like so it's so when they budgeting their money or what have you, what would be the one thing they need to focus on the most? Because a lot of times you have girls like they'll get an apartment but don't have no damn furniture, period. Or because they get that big check, they think that it's going to continuously keep coming away. Because I see a lot of people in the business that we're in, you would think you won't have a lot of people that's broke, but they are,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like they don't understand that. Like one girl told me, she said she made 100,000, but she don't see it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because when people get those big checks, what I do is I get furniture that is like if I have like a bed somewhere, I have that first because you need somewhere to sleep. And then if you
Mm-hmm.
say you have like high credit cards, pay off all your debts first before you buy any more furniture,
Mm-hmm.
because then once you pay off your credit cards, those are reoccurring interest charges on your cards.
So now everything that been happening with banks or what have you, because we've been seeing what was going on with the bailouts and all that shit and everything. It for a person like that's in this business, would it what alternatives if they didn't want to put it into a bank account?
So
Because I know some people might be scared of like I don't want to put it in the bank account because I see how these banks, plus we know how banks work with they invest your money and shit like that. Y'all know what the drill is. So what's the alternatives if a person don't want to put it in the bank?
So there is, like, I don't know where you live, but I live in Michigan. So in Michigan, credit unions are very popular, and
Mm-hmm.
they're gaining more traction ever since the two banks that have collapsed
Mm-hmm.
in California, and then also like the two banks in California, and then also some other banks in New York. So because
Mm-hmm.
uh, the difference between a credit union is, so for you to become a member, it's all member owned and member. So all the members vote on the runnings of the credit union. Instead
Mm-hmm.
of the traditional banks, it's the boards
Mm-hmm.
and the shareholders.
Mm-hmm. Well, I see what you're saying. So what made those banks crash? Because it is, I mean, we didn't heard it before. We didn't heard Wall Street crash and shit. But what makes a bank crash?
It has to do with their loans, and then also has to do with their save up of their assets in money that they can use to shorten the lessers of people taking money out for loans and stuff for startup businesses, because that's what
So
BP got into was their big issue.
So them getting, because they're giving out more loans than what money they're taking in.
Yes.
Mm. So now the biggest question is, like, let's say if a porn star decided they want to get a loan, what would assure them of getting a loan? What would they have to bring to the table? Because your money is based off of, let's say, sales, because you're a contractor or what have you. Part of the reason why many of them have jobs, because it gives them a paper trail, period. Because trust me, it's a lot to explain to a rentor what the fuck you do and how you make your money. So a person in that situation, what would be the best steps for them to be able to go for a loan and maybe even secure one if that's something they want to do?
So first of all, is having your income statement or your pay stubs. That's a great way for you to receive a loan. But also doing a loan application, which is really first, and then is going through all the steps for you to get approved for loan applications for a loan of a certain amount, and then you have to do a down payment on the loan.
So what did the down payment normally like entail? Like, would you have to have collateral, or is it money, or?
It's normally can be both. It can be money or collateral. So it depends on how much you want to put down. So typical loans are like around 15% on how much you're going to get a loan. Say you're going to get a $150,000 loan, it's going to be 15% interest, or what percentage you want to put down. So most loans are, depending on where you go, it ranges from like 7%, or like the lowest is like 4% if you go with a credit union.
Now, when it comes to a business loan, what do a person have to bring to the table for that?
So, a fitness loan, or?
I mean, you the expert. I don't know shit. Business loan. I mean, I don't know what type of business loans they are. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I heard the PPP. I just heard about the PPP. I don't know about none of this shit. Trust and believe.
Yeah,
I'm getting educated just like the smokers right now.
Yeah, my internet just keeps cutting in and out. So it's like when you said that, I was like, what? So it's pretty much, so it depends. So there's two things. So if the business is just starting out, then the banks need the income or the pay stubs of like the CEO or the co-CEO of a company. But if they are established, then they just need their income statements or their returns when what they have to file with the SEC.
Yeah, because a lot of times when you run a business, people don't think about the financial side of it, I guess, or they pass it to somebody else to kind of run or even have the knowledge in, period. And I think that it's important to anyone that has a way of making money or generating money to understand taxes, to understand the loans and stuff on that, and what is taxable and what's not taxable, and finances and everything. So it's kind of like, with you, what made you decide to major in finances and even go into that direction?
So what really made me go into the finance was two things. People not understanding personal finances, and then also my mom her cards got hacked, and then also she had to file a police report because she got frauded. And then that's also like a different types of the finance side, because like the banks and credit unions have to do an investigation to track where your card was being spent or used.
So shoot, so you were like, well, I guess I need to know about all this shit so I won't get my ass get got. So, oh my goodness. So with your podcast, like, how often do you record? And like I said, when did you start your podcast?
So I normally used to record every single day, and then I went from working 20 hours to now working close to 40 hours at work. So now I have to do more research, and then I post like once a month. But Friday I was supposed to post, and then I forgot because I had family in town. So I have to post it Monday. So I'm just like, oh.
Oh no, trust me. People don't realize they think like some people think podcasting is easy. It's not. It's one is a labor of love because it's not money in it as people would think.
No.
Period.
Yeah. I'm not even sponsored yet. And so I'm trying to reach out to sponsors to help sponsor my podcast. It's just hard with keeping up with the emails, and then also people not responding back to you, and it's just like it's really hard, but it's also kind of really funny at the same time.
Yeah, because I mean, don't get twisted. Like you have like the hosts that you might be on that you do your podcast through. Might have the way you can do advertising shit like that, but that money's slower than a month. It's slow as hell, period. But the thing of it is that it's kind of like when you got these people that use bots, it kind of makes it harder for like podcasts like us who have organic and real fan base. You know what I'm saying? Because they want you to they want people to have these outrageous numbers, and sometimes it's not about the numbers; it's about the quality of the base and the listeners. You know, that's how I look at it. Way. So,
Yeah.
so shoot. So, what's your favorite part about podcasting?
Well, having to do the research, which is so much fun, because I get to use my when I did my internship, I get to use my detective skills kind of, and to weed out the not facts versus the truth. So it's kind of like doing mini journalism, kind of.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure because see, with you kind of got to know your stuff before you even talk about it. Because especially in this day and age, because motherfuckers sit there and fact check your ass real quick. So it's kind of like, with you through your research, what do you see as the most important thing people must understand when it comes to finances?
So what I've kind of done into the research is not only how to do a budget, but also talk about bankruptcy. So I did like two episodes on bankruptcy and
Yeah,
about understanding those processes and the different types of bankruptcy, because if you are trying to if you want to get yourself away from bankruptcy, or like you're on the verge of bankruptcy, you have to understand the different types of bankruptcy, because not everything will apply to you. There's like different ones just for businesses, especially if you're an international business, which is totally different.
But then we about to unpack bankruptcy, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go, because I done had family members that filed bankruptcy. So what's the different type bankruptcies?
So there's like the most common is like chapter 7, chapter 11, chapter 12, chapter 13. So chapter 11 and chapter 12 are the two most commonly used just for common people like us. And also chapter 12 is more for individuals, or it can also be used as businesses.
Okay. So what makes them for us versus the other ones? And what's the difference between chapter 11 and chapter 12?
So chapter 11 is, so for chapter 11, you can, it's not as strict as chapter 12. So with like, it's pretty much chapter 7 and chapter 11 are pretty much the same thing, and you're not as restricted with having people to tell you what you need to do. And then with chapter 11, it's more of you have a person that oversees everything.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So chapter 7 is you don't have no you don't have nobody watching over you. Chapter
Yeah.
11, they're watching over you.
And chapter 7 and chapter 11 is still
11 is the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're chapters 7 and 11 is like you still don't have people watching over you, but chapter 12 you have a little, but it's not as much until you get to like chapter 15 is more international bankruptcy with corporations.
So it's kind of like so chapter 15 is for the corporations that do international business
Or
stuff
like local businesses too.
Oh, okay then. And what's the other chapters of bankruptcy other than those?
I totally forgot because I don't have my notes.
See, I didn't prep her, people. I didn't, you know how I do my show. I don't tell them what I'm talking about half the damn time. So, because I like the organicness of it, you know what I'm saying? Because it gives you more of a real response than or what have you. But no, because the average person don't know about this. You feel what I'm saying? Because when you hear someone, because we've been hearing about bankruptcy in the news, period. Like one of the top YouTubers, Tasha K, she filed for bankruptcy because of what happened with her Carter B, her being sued for millions of dollars. So, what is bankruptcy? Let's go there because some people might know what it is and may not. What is bankruptcy?
So the loose definition is basically bankruptcy is not able to pay any of your debts or any of your bills to your creditors.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so basically you can't pay no bills, so it enables them from what not being able to collect the bill, bother you, or
It's so basically is bankruptcy is you're going in to consolidate or like lower your monthly payments to your creditors, and 9 times out of 10 you go to court and you can negotiate your monthly payments with your.
okay, cool. So that means when Tasha K filed but for bankruptcy, she made it to where she can make payments on that settlement with no issue. Period. Now, if they say they fail the payment, do they go to jail or is it a penalty?
It depends on how severe it is.
Okay, but jail time can be part of that severity.
Yeah.
Okay, she can go to jail then. My bad. I thought.
Well, it depends because if you're a business and you falsify, or you're an individual that falsifies bankruptcy, then you can go to jail. But if you're a person that absolutely had to file for bankruptcy, then if you don't miss your payments, then it's either like a fine or they just double up your payment.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So it depends. So I mean, it takes extraordinary circumstances for you to see jail time.
Yeah.
But nothing else, that means that if you miss one payment, that means you got to pay 2 payments the next go around, and a fine. Okay. So what constitutes someone to go for bankruptcy?
The issue is like having no money or having such an amount of loans or bills you're bringing in, and you don't have the income, then that's when you have to file for bankruptcy. So it has to be like a factor of, say you're a single parent and or I'm going to use like 2 examples. So a single parent or a family members that are getting divorced.
Yeah.
And they're trying to separate their finances, so that's sometimes when people might go and do bankruptcy because they're trying, especially if people have a joint account and they don't have an individual account, then they're trying to get their money out of their account into their own account. So that's when they might have to file for bankruptcy because they can't pay their bills.
So now there's always a myth that they say rich people file bankruptcy to, I guess, make more money or consolidate money, anything like that. The question of it is like this: what myths that people have about bankruptcy that they're wrong about?
So a lot of misconception is bankruptcy is used for it can also be used for like bad, but it's also sometimes it can be used for good, for consolidating people's
Uh,
assets and also business assets too.
so what makes it used for bad?
So if people are they owe taxes to the federal government and they haven't paid them, or they are trying to hide their business assets that they made money and they don't want to pay taxes on that.
Mm, mm. So rich people do use it with that sometimes. So maybe it's a real thing, I guess. Yeah, because you always hear people say that they use bankruptcy to get out of things, um, or what have you, and everything. Because I think a lot of people should, and like let's put it this way, should a lot of people take bankruptcy into consideration?
Is for people who are in bankruptcy. So bankruptcy for individuals lasts around like 5 years. So if you're gonna get a loan, then
Mm-hmm.
then that is taken into consideration of, are you able to pay your loan on time, or are you able to pay off your loan.
Mm. Oh, most definitely, most definitely. So, oh my goodness. See, that's why I told you I said it was money smoke. So how many of your listeners like reach out to you for advice?
No one yet.
Cause you really, how long you been going, podcast wise?
So this is my first season, so I'm on like
Okay.
episode 15. So my next
Oh, so
episode,
you brand spanking new.
yeah.
See?
So my next episode is gonna be my 16th episode. It's gonna be my last one because I want to go and get and doing the interviews. So
Yeah.
after that, so then it gives me enough time to set up the interviews. So then
Mm-hmm.
I can go into and start talking about my next season and the topics I want to cover in season 2.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Because yeah, 'cause I remember a lot of people were doing seasons. I don't I didn't do seasons, because I could just go way my podcast is set up and the way it became built, you know. But shoot, nah, you still young in the game, so nah, I suspect you're gonna have, fans and your listeners, and even some of the smokers who is listening now will probably come to you for advice, because we all need advice for our finances. I might even come to you for advice. You never know. Um, because the simple fact of that, it's not about making the money; it's also about making the money do something for you. You
Mm-hmm.
know, period, and everything. So, like, if someone came to you and they asked about investments, what would you suggest?
It Give me a sec. What are you doing? Hey, Mom, I'm doing an interview. Can you?
Hey, mom. That is beautiful. I miss my mom. That's what I do. God bless dead Mosella Lucas. So, but no, but like just off the top of your dome, what would be a good investment to somebody?
So a good investment would be to get into, either if you can afford. So what a lot of companies are now doing is like fraction stocks, where you don't have you own a portion of a stock that you can buy it over time to get one share of a company, which is totally awesome because traditionally when people are investing, they
Mm-hmm.
are you can only buy one stock of a company, and now the because so many people can't afford the high prices of a stock, now a
Mm-hmm.
lot of companies are getting into like fractional stocks, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. So fractional stocks, what makes it different than regular stocks?
So fractional stocks is you're owning like a fraction of a stock. Say for Apple, for example,
Mm-hmm.
say the stock is X price, and you
Mm-hmm.
can't buy it at that price, so you just pay like say $50 for it.
Mm.
Then you own like a portion of it.
Mm. Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's kind of like enable you to buy in. You may not, but you can still get a return,
Yeah.
but it enables you to buy in at a lower rate.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Okay. You see, once again, no one tell us these things. I ain't know about fractional stock. See, that's
Well, it's just with these fractional stocks, it's really new, so it's like
mm,
still uncharted waters. But especially
mm.
for like people like me and you who might not have like a steady income that can like invest like $5 or $10 when you get money, which is awesome.
Most definitely. See, because that's the one thing that I try to do with my podcast is not just for my smokers, but also for the porn stars that listen, that y'all make money. So this is important. Why she's on this here? For y'all to learn how to make more money with your money. That's what her podcast is about. And I suggest to all my smokers out there, y'all need to go check out her podcast because she really broke down the Enron stuff. As you see how she broke down the bankruptcy. Imagine what she do on her podcast. So y'all need to go check that out for real. And like I said, I ain't gonna hold you up, but we is gonna bring you back. You know what I'm saying? Because can I call you a smoke buddy?
Yeah.
See, there you go. She'll be back here on the Smokers Lounge. We're gonna talk some more finances. I'm gonna look up some stuff to talk to her about, you know what I'm saying, and give her a heads up so she won't be so caught off guard. But like I said, y'all check out her podcast. So speaking about that, tell everybody where they can find your podcast and where they can find you.
So you can find me on, if you guys have Instagram, you can find me Sydney_Allen29 on Instagram. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can look me up at Sid Golf or Tiger29. And you can find me on Apple Podcasts. Type in Finance Rundown. And if you listen on Podbean, type in the same thing, Finance Rundown. And then also you can find me on GodPod. Type in Finance Rundown. And I hope to have some new listeners and new followers.
Oh, you definitely will, because I know some of these smokers who love to make money is going to check her out. Because as y'all can hear, she knows what she's talking about. So with that being said, you know how we end these things all day, every day. Life is a learning experience. What's the point of the experience? If you haven't learned anything, smoke this over. Go get the merch. Oh, I forgot one thing. Don't forget, the best smoke is always premium smoke. Go. $4.99 a month. Subscribe to the Premium Smoke Room. 5 premium podcasts for you to enjoy. Y'all know what it is. More provocative, more crazy, more wild, more outlandish. Titties might come out. Dildo might pop out. You never know. But either way, go subscribe. So with that being said, say goodbye to him, Miss Lady.
See ya.